Just over 2 months ago, I posted a video where me and my mate Harvey resprayed a Vauxhall Nova in 24 hours, and it went really well. So, I've been given the opportunity to take on another Nova project, but this one needs a little bit more work put into it. And here it is in all its glory, a beautiful 1990 Vauxhall Nova. This thing is just screaming out for a full respray. Now unfortunately, the car isn't mine, it's my mate Harvey's dad's, but I'm still getting to work on it. So what we're going to be doing on the car is a full respray. It's had a little bit of work done on the back quarter there, it's had a new piece welded in, it's had a few repairs around the body, but we still need to sand the whole thing down, fill a few more of the dents on it, get it in primer and get it painted. But this is going to be really fun and I think it'll look pretty good once it's done. But in terms of in the arches and underneath, this thing is absolutely minted. Look at it all in there, really clean. So we just had a few little rust spots, bits in the door jambs and stuff. The underneath of the bonnet needs a good sand down, so that'll be inside and outside for the bonnet. Ooh, look at that, tasty. So that'll need fully done inside and outside. Coming down the passenger side, just a wee bit of bubbling on the wing again and a wee dent. But if we come down to this quarter, that got a wee fill there, but that's pretty clean as well. The back arch on the passenger side is pretty clean as well, not much wrong with that. And then we come round to the back end, a few little dents on the boot lid, but it is pretty minted. So if we come up to the roof of the car, we've got the sunroof and a few little scrapes and stuff, little dents and that, just little rust patches, but it's not too bad. So first off, I'm going to start in the rear quarter, finish off that repair, and then we'll make our way around the rest of the car. Let's get right into this. So before the work had started on this Nova, this rear arch was pretty rotten, but Harvey's dad had put a new arch on it. He had also put a first skimmy filler over it, but there was a little high spot here, so I'm just knocking it down before I go over it with a second skimmy filler. So with this second skimmy filler, I'm just going over specifically damaged areas instead of putting a whole skim over the quarter just to sand most of it off. And just so you know, I'm not a panel beater, I'm a spray painter, so I'm learning how to repair as I go along with these projects, and I think I'm getting better. So, while I waited on the filler to dry on the rear quarter, I could make a start on sanding down the rest of the passenger side. I'm using 180 grit discs on most of the panels because most of the car is getting primed. These are a bit finer than an 80 grit disc, so you can prime right over the top of the scratches made to the 180. And now the filler was dry on the rear quarter, so I was using an 80 grit disc on a block so that I could sand down the repairs nice and evenly so there was no dents left. Then I could sand round the repaired areas with the DA sander using a 180 grit disc to take out those scratches that were made from blocking it with the 80 grit. I rubbed the rest of the sill and the door shut, and that is as far as we got with day 1, so I'll see you in the morning for day 2. It's now day 2 of working on a little Vauxhall Nova. It's now on 4 wheels down on the ground in the booth now, so it'll be a bit easier to work on. So hopefully today we can rub down the whole car and get it primed. And the first job for day 2 was to remove the bonnet. This was so that I could get to the top of the wings where the wings bolt on to the body of the car, because these were a little bit rusty, so it would make it a bit easier when it came to priming it all. And now that the bonnet was off, we could get on to sanding that rusted and dented roof. After sanding the driver's side of the roof, I could get on to doing this little repair on the front wing. Now, this was just a small little ding on the front wing and it wasn't too big of a deal. So I'm using that 80 grit on a block again to get it sanded down nice and evenly. Once the repair on the front wing was complete, I now had one of the worst jobs to do when it comes to sanding down a full car. Sanding the sills. Now these are low down on any car, especially this little Nova. I then took some more parts off the car and then it was pretty much ready to prime. So it's now a good few hours later and we've made amazing progress on the Nova. It is all rubbed now, ready for primer. And off camera I mixed some of that high build primer up and now we could put it on. And the primer I'm using for doing this Nova is a Vauxhall 5:1 high build primer. I've used this on the last couple of jobs and it seems to go on pretty well and rub down pretty well as well. So I'd say it's pretty good stuff. This is now the second coat of primer I'm putting on the Nova, so I'm putting it on pretty heavy and making sure to get a good smooth finish on it. If I'm being honest, it was really tricky to get primer onto the bottom of the sill here, but I still tried my best and I got quite a good coverage on it. We even managed to get some primer on the loose panels, which meant everything was pretty much primed and ready to be painted. The car's looking so much better now, but especially that rear quarter. It went from this to this. So yeah, a massive difference for the Nova. It looks so much better now. And unfortunately, that brings us to the end of part 1 of restoring the abandoned Vauxhall Nova. Make sure to come back next Wednesday for part 2 of restoring the Nova, where we paint it and pretty much finish the whole car. Now, I hope you enjoyed part 1, so please like this video, comment down below and subscribe to the channel if you're new or you're watching my videos and you're not subscribed. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Oh, and here's a little teaser for part 2.